Hey everybody, Fish a Lot here with Fishy Review. Today I've got the Sicce Whale 200 canister filter. Want to take a look at this? I've never had one before. I bought this one myself. It's for fairly small aquariums, so this is a small canister. This one is rated for 100 to 200 liters, which is what tricked me. I went and ordered this and I didn't look that close. That's an L, not a G. Unfortunately, I'm putting this on a 75-gallon tank. I kind of wanted it to be the only filter. This one's actually rated for 25 to 50 gallons. And which makes it a smaller canister. The box, as soon as I got the box, oh no, what did I do? This can't be right. There's no way it's this small. So let's see what is in the box. Inside, we have a bunch of stuff. There we go. Is that everything? There are instructions. What do we need those for? Oh, we'll probably need them. But right now, nope. To get those. Okay, what do we have here? Let's get this plastic off of here. It's so tiny. Plastic, goodbye. Okay, this is a little guy. I like it. It's kind of a canister cute. I've never had a canister filter this small before. What we've got is a bunch of parts. Let's see what's in here before we open those up. Let's take a look at this hose. The hose is gray. I think that's good in the sense that it'll keep the light out, keep the hose from growing a bunch of algae inside, and even if something does grow in there, you won't see it. So the hose, however, just in the box, I can see already it's a little kinked. I don't like that. I think that should have been in the box better, maybe coiled up properly so it doesn't have these kinks that, honestly, I don't know if they're ever going to work out. That's disappointing there. We have a bunch of parts. Here's the in and the out. They're labeled as such. So this one says in, this one says out, and the in one has the primer assembly on it. So you use this to pump the water up into the filter when you're priming it when the hose line is dry coming in. All right, here's the intake for it. This twists apart. There's a ball inside. It's like a check valve. So you want to make sure you don't lose this ball. So what the ball does is it's whenever you shut off the filter, the ball settles down here and more or less, I'm sure not very well, stops the water from backing up out of the hose, at least quickly. It probably forms a bit of a seal there, but I wouldn't trust it for long. So that just snaps together. You want to keep that clean. If that's dirty there won't be any seal forming. So make sure that ball's moving free inside. What I'm going to do is get this tubing ready. I want to cut them to equal lengths. I'm going to stretch it out. And it just happens to be around this one kink in the tube, so I would like to cut it around there. Just cut it with sharp scissors. You could use something else, but that seems to be about the safest thing. And then I'm going to use this more kinked side on the output. I don't really want to use it on the input. So what you've got here is, there's your hoses. You've got your in and your out. So let's start with the out. The out is this piece here that says out on it. It has two pieces that you need to assemble. There is a little elbow thing here, which is going to go with a long way in first, okay? And then this little diverter thing that you put on here, and it'll go like that. I think you could get creative. You could flip it over to get more upflow. We'll just have to see how it does in the tank, but it gives you that ability to rotate it. And you can rotate this to have it point whichever way you want it to point. And it has a little clip on here so that when you snap it over the back of your tank, it holds it in place. I like that idea. That looks cool. The next thing is you take the input, it says in on it, and it has the same kind of clip to hold on your tank. You take this clear tubing and you stick it in this side with the 3 rings on it, and just shove that in there. And you stick this guy on here like that. And of course, this is a small canister, so this is a very short intake tube. It's meant for smaller aquariums. If you had a bigger aquarium, you usually want that deeper. You could cut this tube. It would be hard to cut. You'd have to use maybe some PVC cutters or a saw, something like that. If it's just too long, you obviously wouldn't want it all the way on the bottom of your tank. But it would be shortenable if you had to. So what we want to do here is connect the hose to this. And we'll start with the in. I want to use the not kinked piece of hose for the inside of it. Want to slide this over the hose first, and so you slide it over where the little slots are facing into the hose. Okay, the instructions don't really say what to do here, but I can tell you after some personal trial and error that the best thing to do is to put this on here and have a little bit of the hose sticking out, and that'll let you get it started. So right there like that, and you can start to get that on there, and together, slide that on there, kind of twist it as you go, and that way you can get this plastic on there all the way. If you try to slide the plastic up later, forget it, can't do it. That looks pretty secure. We'll lose all these little pieces, get them out of the way. So that's the intake. Now the output, we'll do the same thing. Got this on here again where the hose is just barely sticking out so I can get it started. Get it started, and then kind of twist that on up. There, it's on there pretty good. You want a connection on a canister filter, any connection on the tubing, to be very secure. If this were to come disconnected on either side, you could drain pretty much your entire aquarium on your floor. So these connections always have to be good. I always watch out for making that as good as possible on any canister filter. So do the same for these guys. So this one again is the output, and it's going to go to the out, which is labeled right here. You guys can see in and out, in and out. And here's this little thing here. We'll go ahead and take this guy off. So you push to close, pull to open, like it says here. We'll pull it to open. Okay, kind of helps to hold it, I think. It seems a little less solid feeling than some of the other canister filters I've used. Go ahead and take that. That's the output side. This is the output one. Go ahead and get this on here. Same thing, just have that sticking out. Output, don't get myself mixed up. Get that kind of slid up there, and then, see, I went a little too far. Let's go ahead and get that. There we go, got that on there. Get the input side, put this on here. Get that started. Get it like that. It hurts the fingers. No Band-Aids needed this time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the Marineland video. Okay, now that's set up, and the way that would go back in here is to go in here like this, drop it down in there, and push it to lock it in place. So now the hoses are set up. Got that part done. I'm going to take them out so I can look inside the filter. Open that up, take this loose. Not my favorite. I think that part could be improved on, but we will see. How functional is it? Let's open this guy up. This canister filter is kind of the opposite of other canister filters I've used. You normally grab the bottom and pull up. Nope, pull the tops open like that, and now it's open. You gotta take the bottoms up after you do that, and here you go. Now we're inside. Inside, you can see there's a lock icon and unlocked icon. So to open up the impeller thing, you just twist it towards the unlock. The impeller pops out. Lots and lots of play in that impeller, so that makes it a little easier to clean the shaft. Magical disappearing black cap. Thanks, guys. Almost everybody uses these, so I don't know. But don't lose that. You need that. There's another one inside here. If you were to lose that one, you might not realize you lost it and wonder why the thing is so noisy. So that's got to be there. And let's see, let's take it out. If you were to take this out for cleaning, see, it'd be so easy. Go right down the garbage disposal, never to be seen again. There's the impeller. Make sure this always stays clean. Whenever you service this filter, take it out. Don't just leave that in there. Don't assume that this little slot in here is going to self-clean it. Yeah, that's what it's for, but you could have snails in there, you could have rocks in there. So also make sure that slot's clean. You get a brush, get down in there. I'll put a link in the description for some brushes that you might like, along with a link in the description for this, by the way, if you want to check it out. And so you want to keep this little hole clean, keep that slot clean. Then when you're done, you put this impeller back in there, get it down in there real good, get this guy in position, and sweep it over and into lock position. Make sure this is all clean, always scrub all this down. There is a gasket here. Okay, it goes all the way around. Make sure that's in place. Make sure that when you get it shipped to you that it comes in place. Maybe it gets knocked loose somehow. Make sure that's good. I mean, it shouldn't. It was on the filter, right? But that's just things that you have to check. Now, there's been, if you look at the Sicce website, there are videos about keeping this thing from leaking. I find that to be concerning. I don't know if I'm going to have trouble with it. I'm going to be careful with it and see what happens. Of course, I'll let you guys know in future videos if I have encountered any of these issues. But of course, they say make sure you check this gasket real good. Make sure you check this black rubber cap right here. This thing can come out like that, and it caps off this portal, which gives you a place to get a brush in there and clean in, and you can brush in here and clean here. You want to make sure all this stays clean where the hoses go. Make sure everything connects good and solid so the water's not going to leak anywhere, and make sure you don't lose this. If you lose this, you can get them to send you some more if you call them. I don't know if they charge or not, but make sure that stays in there. I'd almost always leave it in. Shove it in real good so it's not popping out, but that's got to be in place. You could have problems. That's the top part. Set that off to the side. Inside this little bitty canister, it's cute. I'm sorry, it's cute. What? I'm used to big canister filters. This is tiny. Okay, so inside you have these baskets. The first basket comes with ceramic media, and they've got a name for it. The ceramic is the Biocur. This is an Italian thing, so they've got kind of Italian names, but Fishelati doesn't mind Italian names. So we've got this ceramic media, and a good place for all the beneficial bacteria to grow. Of course, if you were to have to rinse this out, if it gets real gunky, do it quickly and get it back in dechlorinated water. I do rinse mine in tap water. Everybody freaks out. Just be quick about it, guys. Just do it, rinse it, get it back in the water. Don't let it sit there in chlorinated water. If you want to be really careful, don't use any chlorinated water. Just use dechlorinated water to clean your filter. That's fine. If you want to be ultimately careful, I totally understand. I just like to use tap water because it's quick. And I know that you guys are probably going to want to do things quickly because you got other stuff to do. Inside, we've got the next basket. Kind of hard to pull out right now. Next basket has foam in it. Also has this other stuff in it. Another biological filtration media that they call AquaPure with a K. Inside, you've got that. It's very dusty. I can see already. I'm going to try to... Oh, there goes the camera lens. This you want to rinse out before you put it in here. Okay, so take this to your sink, rinse this out the first time real good. This is, I can see, this is kind of cool looking stuff. It's got a whole bunch of little pores and holes and kind of like miniature white lava rock. I mean, it's very light, so it's porous. We'll probably even create nice little places inside for the bacteria that can even remove nitrate, which is the anaerobic bacteria. It might be too small to do that, I don't know, but it gives a lot of surface area for good bacteria to grow and help keep your tank good. Sponge media, so obviously this stuff looks like they intend for it to be underneath the sponge, like so, okay? And mess up all my camera lenses. Okay, inside one last basket. This one is just foam. Okay, so you have another layer of this same foam as before. White large cell foam, and then there's a blue even larger cell foam underneath it, just slightly. So that goes in the very bottom. So we put those all in there, and we would assemble this. It does matter which way this goes. There's a slot here to make sure you can't get it wrong. Try to put it in like this, doesn't go. Got to put it in. There's a fin type thing here that lines up with this slot. So you do that. 1, 2. This one has like a little handle. All right, so these baskets have little handles. For some reason, they put the handle on the top one, but they didn't bother to assemble it to the lower one. So you can put those handles in. Take the foam out. So if you want to use the handles in there, you just snap them in like this one already is. So there's a couple holes right here where it's going to snap into if you want to use that. And then your foams go under there, slide them in under. I think they're kind of optional, but it does, you know, like I said, it was hard to get it out of there. That's why the handles aren't assembled. When you assemble a canister filter, of course, you also want to make sure the baskets feel like they go in straight. If they're a little bit crooked, the top's not going to go on right, and you're going to wonder why the thing's leaking. The top also, it matters which way it goes. There is that same slot like we saw in here on those baskets. Make sure you line that up with this. Place that on top. Get the handle thingies out of the way. Squish it down. Now put the bottoms of the handles first. So open these up, bottoms first, snap, 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 snap. If it doesn't do that, you probably don't have it straight. Should be very easy. And then of course, we want to put, once you get it all done, put that back on. But right now, we don't need that. So the next thing I will do is rinse out that one media in the house and get this over on the goldfish aquarium and see what happens with it from there. Before I do that, if you haven't hit like on this video yet, and if you like it, please hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Help other people find videos like this. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, if you could hit that subscribe button, it'll help you find more videos like this in the future. So thanks. As I went to put this filter on the aquarium, I noticed that there was stuff on the table that I hadn't talked about yet. So let's talk about those real quick. Those things are important. There are 4 suction cups and 4 things that aren't even mentioned in the instructions. The instructions do mention what to do with the suction cups. So where those go is on these things here to help hold it on your tank. So you see there's a slot here. You put one here. And there's a slot here. You put one here. So they're going to go like this, right? You're going to have one that's pushing on this side of the tank and this one on the inside of the tank. So that, because this is going down over the glass of the tank. Do the same thing for the other one. Got suction cup there and suction cup there. Whether they actually act as a suction cup or just as a rubber thing to create friction, I think that's more likely what happens than it being a suction cup. But it's glass, so it might help it really stick on there, which is nice. But they do fall out real easy. So that's where those go. Now, I personally couldn't find anything in the instructions that said what to do with these, but it dawned on me. It's pretty obvious. They're the feet. So just stick them in these holes in the bottom, like so. So there you go. Now you have the feet. Okay, I've got this on this goldfish tank. These are the goldfish, the carnival goldfish. Check this guy out. He's about 10 inches long. I'm going to be putting some 75-gallon tanks here real soon. There's 2 of the 3 surviving, unfortunately. One of them died recently, but the other 2 are doing great. I've got this filter set up on here. And this is the intake side. You can see the intake. Here's the outtake side. This being a small canister, it's not designed for a tank this big. It really isn't. So don't put this on a 55 because it's too tall and the hoses are barely long enough. I would have cut that kink out of the hose if I could, but I can't because there's just not any extra here. I've got this ready to go. What I want to do is I want to see how well the priming mechanism works. Normally with a canister, what I would do is fill it with water ahead of time. If I could start a siphon, it would siphon the water out and down into there, and it would fill it for me. So that's what I want to do. Usually, though, what you want to do in that case would be to have the output out of the water. I just knocked off the suction cup, so I'm going to take that out of the water so that air can freely splat out of there, and hopefully it doesn't interfere at all. So we'll take this, we're going to pump this. Real hard to do with one hand, right? Oh, I hear it. You hear it? The water is flowing into it. So that worked. Well, that's pretty cool. I like that. So we'll let that fill up a minute. Let's lower this back in. Let me get my suction cups back on. Okay. Got that back on. This is ready to plug in. Need to find a place to plug it in. For the moment, I'll put it where these lights are. Wrong circuit, but this will work. See, this is for lights. But we'll just put it here for now. It'll shut off tonight if I don't move it. All right, you can see the water. If I was to want some more surface agitation, I'd actually turn that up like that. I personally like it that way. Tank level's a little low right now, but that's okay. Okay, there we go. Well, that was the easiest I've ever started a canister filter. I will give it that 100%. A new canister filter when there's no water in the lines. Now, maybe because I actually finally did the thing where you take the output out of the water, because it's a good idea. Yeah, that was easy. One thing I wanted to point out here that comes up, people will ask this in the comments about the canister filter. How does the water flow in the canister? Well, the back of the box in this case shows you exactly how the water flows. So it shows the water coming in the inlet here, and I hope we can see that real good. Comes down that little U-shaped channel where I said everything had to be lined up, comes down that, and then goes up through the foam, the coarser foam, the finer foam, the biomedia, more foam, and the last biomedia. So this is how any canister filter is going to work. The water has to get underneath and hit this bottom foam. If it didn't, people say, well, does it flow top to bottom or bottom to top? Well, if it flowed from the top, then all this media that's on top would just get, you know, all full of stuff immediately, all the fish poop and everything else. So always what you're going to have is that water's going to flow underneath, come back up, and go out the top. And sometimes some filters on the very top will put one last layer of some sort of polishing media. You could probably squeeze some filter floss in here as well, or put something else on top if you wanted. The back of the box claims the baskets will float. Maybe once they've been in use, they float up and you can grab them. I don't know. If I'm going to clean my canister filter, I dump it out. There's a lot of stuff in there. You clean it, and then you put all the stuff back in, and then a big burst of brown water is going to hit your aquarium. So to me, it's better just to take all those out and go ahead and dump the canister. This thing's only a gallon of water. It's not going to be that heavy. It'd be easy to do. All right, so well, that's an interesting filter. I generally like that brand, the Sicce, the Tidal filters. They make for hang-on back as well. And but they're very basic, really, filters. They're strong filters. The Tidal ones are, but they don't have the options in some of this. This is also, I think, kind of that way. It's a basic kind of a canister filter. And we will see over time how it does. I will certainly have a follow-up video at some point showing you how dirty I can get it, because with those goldfish, that should be easy. And tell you if I've had any trouble with it, see if anything happens when I move it around, or if I just can't get it back together right, or if it leaks on me. What the heck is this? That. What the heck? Really? You've got to be kidding me. This is not good, folks. It's not good at all. So I got a hold of Sicce's customer support, and their response, why it was leaking, is that it wasn't leaking around the gasket, but that it's actually leaking around this and getting into this cover that's over the filter, right? So they said the reason would be that this here was pushed in too far, which is strange to me. I think you should be able to push it as far as you like. And they suggested having it backed off just a tad, like that, right? Not much. Now, I did that. It stopped leaking. Now, lately, I've had it pushed all the way in, and it still doesn't leak. I haven't had any problem with that at all. I think really what happened was I didn't have this in really good, maybe because it was new. It went ahead. It will let you latch it, even though this wasn't down enough. It has not leaked at all since. It's totally fine. I've had no problems with it. Keeping a close eye on it, of course, but this is a big concern for me on this filter, is if it leaks. So if you do use one of these, make sure you check it very carefully the first few days, maybe put a bucket underneath it. It was a slow leak. It wouldn't have drained the tank quickly, but it would have been bad, you know, to get it in your fish tank stand or on your carpet or whatever. So that's a problem. I'm not happy about that, but I do seem to have it working fine now. So this is Fishalata here, signing off. Remember, everybody, keep it fishy and have fun. Thanks. Can I do the bounce into the chair thing? Let's do. Hey, everybody, Fishalata here with Fishy Review. It's so stupid.